over to you, Joey.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to get through these first few
Let me
screens.
just go ahead and manufacture consent in this nice spiffy suit that I'm wearing.
This is kind of a schematic of what happened. The red here shows you where the Tomahawks came in from. The blue shows you the egress, the coming in and the coming out of the...
Oh, my God. The coming in and the coming out. Oh, like, what do we need? This is the smart man's dumb man graphics here. Operation Midnight Hammer. This red arrow represents where the B-2 bombers entered into the anal cavity, and then they did their little droppage here. They did it to completion. It was a smashing success. Everyone high-fived and then came really hard. And then they got the out of there right here, up the poop canal. Anyway, back to you, Greg.
Planes. So let's go ahead and move forward and talk a little bit about the mission. 7,085 miles.
Yeah, oh, look at all those tax dollars. Can we measure that every mile in tax dollars, please? That was $363 million of our tax-paying money. That's not including the cost of the bomb or the replacement costs of the bomb that we just dropped.
Multiple times along the way. I don't know exactly where, but to do an air refueling at night with a stealth bomber, man, just so impressive. So let's get to the bomb.
Took off from White Man. That's right, the white man came for the brown man in the middle of the night with a hammer. Said, I'm gonna hammer you, boy, because I'm the white man.
So you've got, and these are plastic polymer explosives. So what they are, they're not very sensitive at all. So you have two different types of explosives, and it's wrapped and coated in 30...
Sounds very, dare I say, bisexual. Two different kinds, you say. Is this a trans missile?
When the impact inertia of it hitting the ground...
Look at that, he just rubbed the tip.
...happens, you have a time delay fuse.
He's just drawing a big penis. That's it. There's the nutsack, there's the shaft, and there's the head. That's all this is. Are these... who is this video for? I feel uncomfortable now.
In here, or a delay fuse in here, and what happens is it actually, I believe...
I can't wait for him to like start drawing in smoke trails so it looks like little hairs on the ball.
Initiates from the bottom.
Oh, he did it.
And goes forward into your explosive.
Yes.
So think of a sensitive explosive here, a slightly, and that's so that they can withstand the impact of going in 100 feet without blowing up from a sympathetic detonation. So what I mean, the explosives that's in it, that's explosives that we use all the time with various types of bombs. A penetrating bomb is not all
the time, you say? Wait, why were you dropping bombs all the time?
Uncommon.
This sounds like an infomercial for Lockheed Martin.
Is the only country that has the capability to do this. A lot of it has to do with how it got there.
Yeah, when Donald Trump says, we are the only country that could have done this, he's talking about World War III.
The fact that we can deliver it the way we did. And
no other country could have started World War III, all right? We're the only ones that could do it. We got it done.
We're the only country that's put the parts together and said, we have this capability. Dare you to dig something in the ground. And
yeah, that sounds really weird. It's like happened. Ted Bundy showing you his knife collection.
So I want to show you a little bit more kinetic version of that map we showed you earlier. So what we're learning happened is...
He's like, and then this is where I abduct them, and then I knock them out with a hammer, a midnight hammer.
And then the stealth bombers were able to do their thing before the Tomahawk missiles hit. So that's that coordination,
Just imagine the analog to this, okay, people? Imagine there's an Iranian pundit course, presenting an operation to the Iranian public about how they've did this thing in Missouri or California. They some nuclear facilities in the United States, and this is how they did it. Look, check it out. We launched from our seaborne aircraft carriers that are off the coast of California, or in the Caribbean, or in the Gulf of Mexico. I'm sorry, it's unthinkable, right? The fact that we've just assumed this in American public, in American society, that this is just the air that we breathe. We should obviously have the Fifth Fleet parked in the Persian Gulf in Bahrain, right outside of Iran. We should be taunting, creating existential threats to other countries around the world in order to control the pipelines and the sea lanes for the global economy. This is all just completely normal stuff, and that's scary. That's not normal. Why do we accept all this? I mean, I know why we do, but we shouldn't. The media tells you a lot by what they don't say and how they frame things. We should always be mindful of that, obviously. This is the manufacturing of consent we're seeing.
These missiles, the Tomahawk missiles, what makes them so effective is they're essentially drone planes. They have the ability to change course, even change target while flying. Oh
my God, they can change target while flying? Holy shit. Where's my healthcare again?
These are the bases of our men and women.
This is just, look, all this land, it's just our bases. That's what you need to understand here. Again, I dare you to think about an analog for the United States as if Iran was posturing in Mexico, Canada, Hawaii. They took control of Puerto Rico and had a couple military bases in Puerto Rico. How would the United States react? What if they had an aircraft carrier parked in the Caribbean? What would the United States do? Why is it completely normal for us to behave in a way that we would find repugnant and would not accept if the roles were reversed? Why is there this double standard? Why is there this thing called American exceptionalism? I just don't understand how people can, in any sense, say that Iran is the bully of the Middle East and say that with a straight face.
I lived at the Al Asad Air Base, and that is a very important air base for us. It's big, it's fortified.
Yeah, and it's in Syria, and we own it, and we own a third of Syrian land. Why is that okay? That's the whole logic of this empire, is to lend-lease military bases across the world, and we can do that because we control the global finance system. Countries will have to accept the conditions imposed upon them top-down, or else face harsh sanctions, sabotage at every corner. So they're not left with an opportunity to self-determine because the table has been upturned, you know? When I say all these things, people still want to gripe about Iran or Egypt or how these countries are really just, you know, they're betraying Palestine, and you're not actually fundamentally looking at the power asymmetry. They were made to be subservient. They were all made to be subservient by the one global hegemon, the United States. And that's the way that the world has been. I can't think of any other better words to tell you than to keep repeating the ones that have worked on me. And like it or not, this is history. This is our historical record. This is the point that we have achieved consciousness in this life. This is what is bearing out before us. This is our lifetime. This is what's going on. So it is a unipolar moment in world history, and it has been. And we have to see it through that lens. And if we don't accept that basic truism, I think people are hopelessly lost with trying to decode the many different individual phenomena that seemingly are isolated but are all interconnected. And it always boils down to the economy and what the social and material, intimate, immediate, detailed distinctions of the political economy at large. The fact is, we have one principal contradiction happening, and it's imperial capitalism versus indigenous economic nationalism. That contradiction is sometimes hidden, sometimes in the open. There's a front line, there's a background to it, and in the Middle East, that's the front lines. Palestine is the front line. There are obviously other front lines. There's other fronts to this war. There's many fronts. There's innumerable fronts. It's one versus all. It's one global superpower that has done a damn good job at dividing and conquering, and they are completely savage. They will stop at nothing. They will destroy the world 10 times over before they relinquish power. And that's why when the leader of the Communist Party in Indonesia in 1960-something, 64, just before they were all massacred, he took a trip to China and talked to Chairman Mao, and Mao advised the leader of this Communist Party of Indonesia, which was the third largest at the time, that if you're facing the Americans, you better arm yourself. And this is a historical observation, okay? I'm quoting history. This is what happened in 1964 and 65. This is part of the historical record. The leader of the Indonesian Communist Party did not take that advice, and we know what happens. The sleeper cells are here, man. No, they're listening. They're listening, man. You don't know. You haven't seen the I've been in the Lou. The Iranian sleeper cells are here, guys. I know that they are here in the States, operating on a massive scale, okay? And if you don't see them, that's just because they're so good at concealing themselves. And if you do see them, that's because that there are so many of them everywhere. So whether you don't see them or you do see them, just know that the problem is awful. And we must take all course of action to rid ourselves of all of these Iranian sleeper cells. Oh my God, terrifying. There's so many proxy groups we gotta be concerned about. And, you know, that's why I'm okay. I'm okay with giving Israel all my tax money. Please, have good health care. I'm fine. I've got ox-like blood, okay? My family is strong like oak. All right, I have good genes, so I don't need it. Okay, let Avram and Shlomo live it up. Okay, if I can save them from sickle cell anemia or skin cancer, because we know our chosen people are prone to that in their promised land. The sun, it's a bit hot on the pale skin, but, they're obviously indigenous to the Middle East. Just ask them to take a DNA test to prove that. Wait, what? You can't ask them? That's illegal? It's anti-Semitic? Oh, that's right. It's anti-Semitic to ask for a DNA test. Duh.
Planes and things like that. I don't know that. I haven't heard that. That's my presumption. So,
look,
guys,
I'm just a good old boy from Mississippi. All shucks, son. My daddy was a governor. I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, and I do love me some football and some tater tots and some crawdads.
Hopefully that was educational, helped you understand some of the rhetoric and some of the explanations that have come across. At the end of the day, what you need to know...
This is totally football. Basically, the United States went into the Middle East, into foreign territory, scored a touchdown, did the 2-point conversion, spiked the ball, did the victory dance, and then skedaddled on out of there, and we won the game. Amen. Praise Jesus.
Is that our military is badass. And when it comes...
Look, he really, you just said it, right? It's a football game to this guy. And then he just goes and does the thing. He's like, look, our military is bad ass, all right? Our offense and our defense and our special teams. That's right.